The content of this video is not medical advice or a substitute for physical therapy. Please consult your physician or physical therapist before starting any exercise program.
Today's tip is all about how to manage that rounded shoulder posture problem during your workday. So this is in response to a request I received from someone who watched last week's video and said that they loved the exercises on how to improve rounded shoulder posture, but they wanted to know if there was something they could do during their workday to make all of that feel better without having to get down on the floor and rumple their clothes or mess up their hair. So this is the answer. I've got 3 exercises that you can do during your workday without having to get down on the floor. So let's get started. And all you're going to need is a chair and a wall. All right, so hopefully you've got a chair somewhere in your office that has a relatively low back, not too low, but low enough that you can kind of backward bend over it. So what you'll do is you'll sit tall in your chair and you're going to lengthen your back along the chair and lace your hands together behind your head to support your head position. And then I want you to let your elbows come forward a little bit. So if you let your elbows stay really wide or you force them really wide, it kind of stiffens your upper back and then you're not going to get a whole lot of backward bending. So let's just let the elbows come forward a little bit. And then I want you to keep your abdominals activated so that as you backward bend, you're getting upper back backward bending and not lower back strain. So make sure that this is all upper back motion and not lower back motion. Now, take some good deep breaths as you're backward bending here. You are literally doing the opposite of what your body does while you're working on the computer or on the phone. So you can do 8 or 10 of these. Just make sure you stay in a nice pain-free range of motion. And then at the end of it, you should feel pretty refreshed. But that's not all. So our next exercise, you're just going to go to the wall. You're going to walk your feet about a foot's distance away from the wall and place your pelvis against the wall and your shoulders against the wall. Now you don't even have to put your head against the wall, but let's make sure your head is balanced over your neck and you're not feeling any strain there. Then you're going to put one straight arm against the wall with the palm down and you're kind of gently drawing that upper arm backwards. And then with your other arm, you're going to reach it up by your ear. So if your shoulders are real tight, you might have to go out to the side a little bit. But the idea is you're reaching it up as far as you comfortably can. So don't push into a painful area here. And you should feel at your end range, you should feel your shoulder blade muscles on that reaching arm squeeze a little bit. So at the same time, you can kind of draw the upper arm bone of the downward reaching arm back and feel those shoulder blade muscles squeezing as well. And then you're going to simply switch and do the same thing in the other direction. So what I want you to do is about 5 repetitions on each side. Remember to breathe. Remember to keep a little bit of abdominal activation so you're not doing this just by thrusting your rib cage. This is shoulder blade motion. And the nice thing about this pattern is you're not just getting more mobility, more motion in your upper back and shoulder blades, you're activating those little postural muscles while you're doing it. Now, before I share my 3rd and final exercise with you, I just want to remind you that if you like these tips, if you find them really helpful and useful, then go ahead and click like and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. But then do share this with friends and family who you think would benefit from the information. We really appreciate your helping us get the information out to those who need it the most. Okay, now for my 3rd and final exercise, we go back to the wall. Once again, I'm going to ask you to walk your feet away from the wall about a foot's distance, and you're going to put your pelvis and your shoulders against the wall. Your head comes back on your neck, but it does not have to rest against the wall. Now this time, we're going to put the elbows against the wall, but just below your shoulder height. So in other words, don't get up here where your elbows are aligned with your shoulders because that just creates a lot of tone and tension in your neck and you've probably got enough of that, right? So we're going to keep the elbows just a little lower than shoulder height, but the elbows are against the wall. So you are touching the wall with the elbows. Then keeping a little abdominal activation so the ribs stay put, you're going to rotate the forearms back toward the wall. So the backs of the wrists are rotating up toward the wall. Now, they do not have to touch the wall for this to be helpful. What we want you to feel here is that the shoulder blades are flattening against the rear ribs, the collarbones are widening, and the fronts of the shoulders are kind of opening up. Again, the opposite of what you feel when you're working on the computer. So you hold that for a moment and then you back off. Again, keeping the elbows against the wall, you rotate up into this little goalpost position and then you back off. And you can practice that 8 or 10 times as well. Of course, keep steady breathing while you're doing that too. So I hope this helps you maintain better posture during your workday. It's certainly a great way to keep positive input going into your body to counter the effects of all that computer and phoning that we have to do in modern life. That's all I've got for you today. Until next time, keep moving and be well.